Welcome back to Eurofootball Daily for part 2 of players who saved their careers. We thought these stars were finished, but they've all managed to turn it around. Let's go. 10. Hector Bellerin. Last season, Hector Bellerin slumped to a new low at Arsenal. His tackles and interceptions fell to 2 per 90, down 29% since 2018, while his successful pressures dipped below 10 a game for the first time. Even his dribbles halved on the season before, with his famed attacking threat a shell of its former self. Bellerin recognised he needed a change, halving his wages to join Real Betis on the final day of the summer window. And so far, the gamble is paying off. In Manuel Pellegrini's side, the Spaniard has roared back to 3.3 tackles and interceptions per 90, including 1.5 successful tackles against opposition dribblers. That metric alone has improved by 200%. His successful pressures are at their highest rate in 5 years, while his 2 assists in La Liga is thanks to a career-high 1.2 key passes per 90. And it's therefore no surprise that Bellerin has suggested he wants to stay in Andalusia beyond this season. Still only 26, that could end up costing Los Verdiblancos around £15 million. But if Bellerin can help win the Copa del Rey and keep Betis on course for an historic return to the Champions League, that looks like a price worth paying. 9. Johnny Russell. Liam Ridgewell and Bradley Wright-Phillips are examples of average British players that achieved superstardom in MLS. Now add to that list Johnny Russell, the former Scottish international who's become the poster boy for Sporting Kansas City. Back in the UK, the winger is best remembered for a prolific 3 seasons with Dundee United, followed by a 4-year stint with Derby County. In fairness, he was a loyal servant to the Rams, making 162 appearances and scoring 28 times. But Derby could never reach the Premier League, meaning Russell departed for Kansas in 2018 with nothing more than championship credentials. At just 27, a move to MLS appeared premature, but this decision has so far proved inspired. Away from the bullish rigours of the English second tier, he's put up the best numbers in his career, regularly peaking at over 4.5 shots and key passes per 90 and close to 1.5 dribbles per match. Now an MLS centurion, Russell has scored 37 and assisted 22 in the league alone, the most ever by a Scot, and in March 2021 was named captain of the Wizards. If you need any proof that the American dream is real, look no further than Johnny Russell. 8. Cengiz Under. By the end of 2021, it looked like the early hype surrounding Cengiz Under had been unfounded. The Turkish winger had just stumbled through a disappointing year on loan at Leicester, starting a sole game in the league and failing to score. He did feature heavily in the Europa League, but 2 further goal involvements were not enough to earn a permanent future at the King Power. Unwanted by his parent club Roma, it wasn't clear what level of club would ultimately take him on. Fortunately for Under, Marseille came calling, and under the maverick direction of Jorge Sampaoli, the 24-year-old is firing once more. For the first time since 2017-18, he's hit 7 in the league, while his shots and key passes have doubled to 3.4 per match from his time in England. In fact, he ranks 3rd in Ligue 1 for carries into the penalty area, while he's on course to hit 2,000 minutes in a regular season for the first time since bursting through at Istanbul Başakşehir in 2016. Under is silencing his doubters, so a future at the top might beckon after all. 7. Mario Balotelli. Believe it or not, Mario Balotelli is on the path to redemption. The last few years had been a write-off for the 31-year-old, with 2 forgettable spells at Brescia and then Monza in Serie B. This summer, his erratic career took him to the Turkish Super League for another fresh start at Adana Demirspor. But in typically Balotelli fashion, things started going wrong, with his coach Samet Aybaba declaring the Italian's work rate was unsatisfactory, adding, "If Balotelli plays, he's a problem. If he doesn't play, he's the same problem." However, the club's president didn't see it that way, promptly firing Aybaba and replacing him with Vincenzo Montella, and this has proved to be a masterstroke, with the former Roma boss getting the very best out of his star striker. Balotelli has netted 10 and assisted 3 in 21 league games this term, is producing 5 shots and key passes per match, and has even earned a recall to the Italian squad. Montella recently declared that the former Milan and Inter star has never been so focused, and long may that newfound determination remain. 6. Yannick Carrasco. When Yannick Carrasco decided to swap Europe for China at just 24, many accused the Belgian of trading his best years for Benjamin's. The winger was a certified star with over 220 club appearances to his name and had just helped Atletico Madrid to a Europa League title. Carrasco would earn north of €200,000 per week at Dalian Yafan, now known as Dalian Professional, but to his credit he didn't disappoint, netting 24 times in 2 years. However, that didn't stop his doubters questioning his priorities when he returned to Atletico in January 2020. But any concerns that Carrasco had lost a step in China have been quickly forgotten. with the 28-year-old enjoying the best football of his career. Last season, his 6 goals and 10 assists powered Atleti to the league title, and this term he stepped up again, posting a personal best 3.7 shot-creating actions per 90 and ranking in the top 3 players in La Liga for successful dribbles and carries into the penalty area. Capable of playing anywhere on either flank, Carrasco can do it all, and with the race for the top 4 wide open, Atletico need him now more than ever. 5. Joelinton. In recent years, it's been far too easy to pick on Newcastle's Joelinton. The Brazilian's inability to score had become emblematic of the frustrations under the former ownership of Mike Ashley, who uncharacteristically insisted on his signing from Hoffenheim back in 2019 for a whopping €44 million. 7 Premier League goals in 91 appearances is a dismal return, but credit where credit's due, as Joelinton has found new purpose at the Magpies after switching positions. The signs were there all along that Joelinton could do a job in midfield. Under Steve Bruce, he was often isolated in attack and forced to work incredibly hard, averaging 19 pressures, 1.4 blocks, and recovering the ball around 6 times per match. Moving permanently into the midfield has allowed this side of his game to flourish. This season, the 25-year-old's tackles and interceptions have swollen to a career-high 4.6 per game, and he now ranks second in the Newcastle squad for blocks, pressures, and even carries. Joelinton looks like a player reborn, and Sean Longstaff recently made clear that the criticisms of him were no longer valid.
He's been a revelation in midfield, hasn't he? What's it been like to play with?
To be honest, I think if you ask anyone in the dressing room, though, we know he's that good regardless of what the outside people say. I think the disrespect he gets is a disgrace, to be honest. I can honestly say every day in training he's the best player. If he's on your team, you win in training. It's like if you get Joe, you're sort of buzzing in training.
4. Sébastian Hallers. Alright, Seb Hallers' career was hardly at breaking point, but his reputation had taken a serious knock at West Ham after blundering to just 10 goals over 18 months in the Premier League. The Hammers were even content to sell him to Ajax for just £20 million in January 2021, less than half of what they had paid for the Ivorian. Yet even he probably didn't anticipate just how successful his move to Amsterdam would become, with Hallers now the spearhead of one of Europe's most talented sides. Back in the division where he shone for Utrecht over 5 years ago, Hallers' form has exploded. In the Eredivisie, he's netted 27 times in just 38 appearances, and is currently chalking up a massive 3.8 shots per 90. Almost every other shot on target has found the net, while this season his goals per 90 have risen to an astonishing 0.9. But even then he's saved his best for the Champions League. The 27-year-old leads the way with 10 goals from 6 appearances, outscoring Robert Lewandowski in the process. Not bad for a player deemed too ineffective for the Premier League just 18 months ago. 3. Federico Macheda. Federico Macheda will always be remembered for scoring one of the greatest debut goals in Manchester United history. That magical winner against Aston Villa came way back in April 2009 and left everyone assuming the Red Devils had a new star on their hands. However, Macheda never lived up to those expectations, with successive loan spells failing to produce much quality of note. Fast forward to 2017 and the forward was plying his trade with Novara in Serie B, his 9th club in a career that quite literally peaked too soon. A move to the Greek giants Panathinaikos in 2018 looked like nothing more than the next step on the journeyman's path. But against the odds, Macheda has not only found a home in Athens, but truly begun to shine. To date, he's played 112 times for the Greens, 36% of his entire career appearances, and scored 40. The 30-year-old has hit double figures in all competitions for 3 years straight and has kept Panathinaikos on course for their first Greek Cup final since 2014. It took some time, but Macheda has finally escaped the unhelpful ghost of his United past. 2. Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta is a classic example of why you should never write off a player too soon. After he'd shone at Flamengo, in the winter of 2019, AC Milan decided to make the Brazilian playmaker the 3rd biggest signing in their history to the tune of €35 million. But a miserable 1 goal and 2 assists across 37 Serie A appearances shattered the illusion Milan had discovered the next great South American talent, and Paqueta was abruptly cast aside to Lyon 2 summers ago for €20 million. But how wrong were the Rossoneri to be so impatient? The 24-year-old has been electric in France, backing up 9 goals and 5 assists last season with 10 goal involvements already this term. Without doubt the star in Lyon's pack, Paqueta ranks 3rd in Ligue 1 for shots on target, 8th for players dribbled past, and 10th for fouls drawn. But he's so much more than just attacking flair, also ranking among the top 10% in his position in Europe for tackles, pressures, and aerial wins. Reports have since emerged of how Milan rushed him into their starting lineup and played him out of position. But Lyon understood the quality they had at their disposal and are reaping the benefits as a result. 1. Mario Götze. No matter who you are, the sight of Mario Götze enjoying his football again should be a joy to behold. Once tipped as a future Ballon d'Or winner, the young German's career hasn't spun out in the fashion everyone expected, whether it be after his German record €37 million move to Bayern Munich or his emotional return to Borussia Dortmund 3 years later. In Bavaria, the pressure of playing for Bayern hampered Götze's ability, but back at BVB he faced an entirely different challenge after being diagnosed with the metabolic disease myopathy. Götze would recover to score 7 and assist 7 in 2019-20, but the following season it was clear his days at Dortmund were dwindling. No longer fancied by Europe's elite and light years from the German national side, Götze's next step was critical. Fortunately, he chose to join his compatriot Roger Schmidt by heading to PSV. This was unexpected, but fast forward 18 months and the Götze revolt is smiling again. Now 29, the attacking midfielder has become a leader in a squad where the average age is 24.7. And while he might not start every game, 15 goals and 11 assists in all competitions, plus 3 key passes and dribbles per 90, shows there's still plenty of magic left in his boots. Let's hope his perfect renaissance continues for many years to come. So those are 10 more players who saved their careers, but which one was the most surprising to you? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like and subscribe to EFD, hit that notification bell, and you'll never miss an upload. We'll see you next time.